Scary stories of people who had mysteriously disappeared while traveling in the wild have become more common in recent years. There are still hundreds of unsolved cases that have left investigators and researchers baffled, with some of these strange cases being decades old, and with every passing year it becomes ever more likely that those missing people will never be found. Number 5. The mysterious disappearance of Paul Fugate occurred on the 13th of January, 1980. On that day, Paul, who was a ranger at the Chiricahua National Monument in Arizona, went on a foot patrol in the park and never returned. Since Paul had extensive experience in the outdoors and had all the necessary training to survive in the wild, it was assumed that he would be found relatively quickly. But to everyone's surprise, this wasn't the case. A search was launched by the Chiricahua National Monument staff, but when they were unsuccessful in locating him, the National Park Service teamed up with the Cochise County Sheriff's Department for an extensive search and rescue operation. But despite their best efforts, Paul remained missing in terrain that has been described as challenging and complex. The park stretches over 12,000 acres and includes canyons, dry creeks, and deep gorges with steep sides. For the next 6 years, Paul's case remained an unsolved mystery, prompting the then Western Regional Director of the National Park Service, Howard Chapman, to commission Pete Nye, a criminal investigator, to look into the case with the help of an Arizona Department of Public Safety investigator. Together, they pored over the case, looking for any clues, including a rumor that Paul had decided to leave the NPS for greener pastures. But after spending a week scouring through the National Park Service and Cochise Sheriff's Department's files, including witness statements and search and rescue records, nothing in the case files indicated that he had done so, and his strange disappearance remains unsolved. To this day, Paul has not been found. Anyone with information on the case is asked to contact the ISB tip line at 888-653-0009. Alternatively, you can submit a tip online at nps.gov/ISB or email the ISB at nps_ISB@nps.gov. Number 4. Before 68-year-old Joe Doman, who was also known as GPS Joe, mysteriously disappeared, he was a regular contributor to outdoor websites including ArizonaHikers.com and HikeArizona.com. He also ran his own website where he detailed the different trails that he had hiked, but it has since been shut down. On the 8th of November 2010, he decided to travel to the Mount Pelee trailhead in the Mazatzal Wilderness, which is located in Maricopa County, Arizona. He'd been planning to hike in the area with his regular hiking group, but none of the other hikers were able to make it, and so he decided to undertake a solo hike instead. Due to the fact that he didn't inform anyone of his itinerary, it wasn't until a week later that he was reported missing, when he didn't return by the 15th of November. When a search was conducted, Joe's car, a white 2005 Toyota 4Runner, was located at the Mount Pelee trailhead close to Payson. Friends of Joe's told investigators that he'd been looking into finding an off-road route to the summit of Sheep Mountain on the Mazatzal Divide after attempting to summit Sheep Mountain on 3 previous occasions. However, the area is known to be hard to hike, as it's filled with thick brush and vegetation once leaving the marked trail. When Joe remained missing, a search and rescue operation was launched, but nothing was found. On the 16th of November, a Maricopa County search and rescue team took over the search from Gila County searchers. They utilized helicopters to drop into rugged areas around the cliffs of Sheep Mountain, but again, they were unsuccessful. After 5 days of searching, the search was called off, but many people in the Arizona hiking community continued to look for Joe. But unfortunately, they also had no success. Since it has been almost 12 years since Joe mysteriously disappeared, it's highly unlikely that he will ever be found. But investigators still hold out hope that someday they may have more information on the case. Joe is described as being 5 foot 7 inches tall and weighs approximately 175 pounds. He has white hair and blue eyes and would currently be 79 years old. Anyone with information is urged to contact the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office at 602-876-1000. Joe's NamUs case number is MP3-6203. Number 3. The unsolved case of the disappearance of Mary Sloan started when she decided to attend a group trip to Mount Graham in Arizona. On the 3rd of September 2015, she met up with 7 fellow hikers and they made camp near a Forest Service access road, rather than at a designated campsite. The last time that Mary was seen was at around 8:30 p.m., when most of the hikers went to sleep for the night. The following morning, when the hikers woke up, Mary was nowhere to be found, though her cell phone, purse, and backpack were still at the campsite. When her tent was inspected, it was found that she hadn't slept in it that night, and a ground search effort was organized, but nothing was found. On the 6th of September, helicopter crews from the Arizona Department of Public Safety were brought in, and 2 days later, Maricopa, Cochise, and Pima County search and rescue personnel joined the search effort along the cliffs in the area. But despite a thorough search of the area, no clues were found that could lead investigators to her whereabouts. Mountain climbing teams joined the search on the side of the cliffs, but again, their efforts were in vain. Due to a lack of resources, the search effort was called off. However, they were resumed on the 8th of September, but once more, nothing was found, and Mary remained a missing person, as she does to this day. There have been many theories as to what may have happened to Mary. Many people believe that she may have been abducted, but since the area where the hikers decided to camp is extremely isolated, this doesn't seem to be a very plausible theory. Others have theorized that she may have left the campsite to relieve herself, and possibly stumbled over one of the nearby cliffs, though this also seems unlikely as her remains were never found. It's also been considered that she may have decided to disappear of her own accord, since she was going through a rough time when she mysteriously disappeared. Mary is described as being between 5 foot and 5 foot 3 inches tall, and weighs approximately 200 pounds. She has blonde hair and blue eyes, and is known by the nickname Libby. She may also be using the surname Beckett. Anyone who knows where Mary could be or has any information on her case can contact the Lawrence County Sheriff's Office at 740-532-3525 or the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation on 740-845-2419. Number 2. Before becoming a missing person, 21-year-old Drake Lyons Cramer, an aspiring geology student from San Antonio, Texas, was last seen on the 1st of February 2015. He had spent the night at the Bright Angel Lodge on the southern rim of the Grand Canyon National Park and checked out the next morning. Before mysteriously vanishing, he sent a puzzling text message to his parents in which he stated that he had to give his body to Mother Earth. His family later stated that they found it odd that he decided to travel to California and then to the Grand Canyon. He was last seen by his family on the 29th of January when they attended a screening of the movie American Sniper. They stated that at the time, he seemed to be in a good mood and nothing seemed to be out of the ordinary. They found it out of character for him to visit the canyon alone, but since he had been there on a few occasions before, and he was an avid outdoorsman, they assumed he would be fine. When he was reported missing, a search effort was undertaken by park rangers and search and rescue teams who scoured the areas from Hermit's Rest to Grandview. The search operation lasted for a total of 6 days, but unfortunately nothing was found. Dog teams were brought in to aid in the search, and multiple air searches were conducted, but again they proved fruitless. Although they didn't encounter any trouble with the weather, searchers stated that the terrain that was being searched proved to be a challenge, as it's covered with shrubs and includes rocks and canyon walls that become shaded depending on the time of day. No sign of Drake has ever been found, and he remains a missing person today. Though many people believe that his strange text message was a sign that he wanted to take his own life, it's believed that he actually meant that he wanted to get away into nature for a while. Drake is described as being 5 foot 7 inches tall, and weighs around 140 pounds. Unfortunately, it isn't known what he was wearing at the time of his disappearance, and no further clues have ever been found. Anyone who may have information on Drake's case is urged to contact the National Park Service Silent Witness Line at 928-638-7840. Number 1. 41-year-old Max Schweitzer's mysterious disappearance from the Yosemite National Park in January of 2018 has seen a lot of speculation since he claimed to be an analyst at the United States Department of Homeland Security. It's believed that Max traveled to the park between the 1st and 3rd of January of that year, and he became a missing person when a rental car company reported that he had failed to return their car by the agreed-upon date. He was never reported missing by his family, and not much else is known on the case, save for details that he had a few run-ins with the law. It was alleged that he caused property damage to the lobby of the San Francisco FBI offices when he threw a potted plant against a wall, damaged several display cases, and broke the legs off of numerous chairs. This occurred after he demanded to speak to FBI agents, but when his request was denied, he caused the damage that was estimated at around $7,500. Records were also uncovered that detailed his arrest on the 16th of June 2016, after he made threats of violence. Max's rental car was found in the Camp 4 parking lot at the park, and a search was organized in a bid to track him down, but this proved fruitless, and he remains missing in the wild today. Due to media coverage of his disappearance being limited, Max's case isn't very well known, and any leads into his disappearance are being sought by investigators. The last time that Max was seen, he was wearing a light-colored long-sleeve shirt, or possibly a sweatshirt. He was also wearing light-colored shorts and was carrying a dark-colored backpack. It's known that he was employed as a transit planner at some point, but records from the San Francisco Civil Service Commission show that his employment was terminated around June of 2004. Due to the strange claims on his LinkedIn profile that he was employed by the Department of Homeland Security, many people have speculated that his disappearance may be the result of foul play. Others believe that it's merely a case of a disappearance by natural causes, and that Max or his remains could still possibly be located. Anyone with information on Max's case is urged to contact the Yosemite National Park's Emergency Communications Center at 209-379-1992. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But my name is Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.